Congratulations if you traded Bitcoin alongside us. I have been talking about a breakout here and I was able to capitalize on this myself. I shared this in setups here, I shared it as well on thinkmarkets.com. And yeah, a significant push to the upside. We have just reached the first target. The markets are short-term overbought, at least on the technicals. It doesn't mean that the market is not going to push to the upside. It just means that your risk to reward ratio is not great. So what have I done? I went long in Bitcoin. I went long in XRP. I went long in Chainlink, and I went long in a few other coins as well. Because when I see a breach like this one in the dominant market, and then I see other altcoins doing something similar, then I pile in, starting with one, goes in profit, the second one, and so on. So I piled up quite heavily. So this little move here was just 10% in Bitcoin. Imagine doing that 5 times. That's what happened with me. I had one of my second best week for this year. Now, I had a similar week like this one not so long time ago, but back then I didn't book profits. And that's why we hit this target and I'm sitting on significant profits. I actually decided to get out. So I booked profits on across everything. And then what I did now is that I spotted 2 new setups and I went long those 2 new setups because they're 2 fresh breakouts. And these 2 fresh breakouts have a good risk reward ratio, something that Bitcoin right now does not have. So it's okay to go long on your breakout. That's what I think, at least. Gonna give it a try. And again, the risk is substantially smaller. So if I'm wrong on those breakouts and Bitcoin would peak here, then it wouldn't be the end of the world. So what's next for Bitcoin then here? Again, this is not an optimal level to buy. Sometimes we'll have massive slides, 10% slides, okay? I don't think that's going to happen. But if that would happen and we reach 110, then I think people will be very keen on buying. 10% slide here can easily translate into 15% slide on XRP, maybe even a bit more. So that would take us down quite significantly. A 15% slide will take you down here to 2.52. And if that would happen and Bitcoin is still holding up, then I'm quite confident to say that people will probably be quite keen on buying these dips. You just need to be mindful and don't over leverage yourselves. I usually trade with smaller lot sizes when I'm trading dips. The other thing, which is more likely, is the fact that we might just have a corrective move, but we won't trade much lower than the weekly candle. So that will be 119. So it might go a little bit below that level. I am overall very bullish between 119.7 or so, 120K, down to 116.5K. So I'm super bullish there because we have all these deregulation. We have the Genius Act coming out this week that's going to be voted on. The Genius Act is going to allow private companies like, say, Amazon to issue their own stablecoins. Why would Amazon like to do that? If you want to buy, for example, they'll tell you you get a little bit of a discount if you buy our coin. And then when you pay with these coins, we bypass the traditional financial system. So there's no fees that Amazon or the sellers or you as a buyer needs to pay. It settles instantaneously, just making everything cheaper. Then you have next week as well, we anticipate more information on deregulation. So when you have these kind of very important weeks, you'll have these type of price action, okay? This is when Trump won, okay? And then we have these ones here. So I think we're in that situation now where we might not even dip towards the weekly low. But if we were to drop towards the weekly low, I don't think we're going to go much lower. And I think, again, people are going to be buying. So we have 2 scenarios. One is the market crashes a lot, but holds around 110K. I think people are going to get a lot, the dip buyers. And then you have a nice orderly little decline to 119. And then I think people are going to be buying here and then target to the upside. The last one, which I didn't cover, again, are breakouts. For example, actively looking for patterns like this, which are lagging and now looking to push to the upside to catch up with the likes of Ripple and Bitcoin. What do you think and how are you trading? And were you able to turn this price action into success? Let us know in the comments.